everyone and welcome. Today I'm starting work on one of my more ambitious building projects. We are building a Venator-class Star Destroyer from Star Wars in Minecraft. Since my last video I've been planning that, gathering materials. I've collected a lot of dogs and I plan to put them in there as kind of like my clone army, except they're wolves. Don't go in the nether, baby panda. Okay, I've also been farming some sulfur cubes now that we're on the new update. Those are down here. And of course, everyone knows what you can do with sulfur cubes and a happy ghast. Anyway, before we start that, there's one thing that I need to do. My chicken farm is getting absolutely out of control. Been waiting a long time to do this. Oh my. How much chicken did I get? That's a lot of XP too. 3 stacks of chicken. Wow. And yes, my Star Wars resource pack makes the chickens sound like Jar Jar. I also have some armadillos over here, so they're going to be producing utes so we can craft some wolf armor. I have quite a bit of those already. And I also built this bee farm because I will need a lot of honey for this build. Alright, so let's head out to where I've selected the spot for this. I built a huge tower of scaffolding straight up. But I haven't actually started building the frame yet, so that's what we're going to do now. I've spent the last couple weeks making a creative mock-up of this, and so I'm going to use that kind of as a reference. And I have a new monitor, so now I can actually look at this on 2 screens at once. That's pretty nice. I'm going to need a fair amount of slabs for this. I figured out a good way to use these kind of for making angles, so hopefully that'll look pretty nice. No! Alright, so my plan now is to do kind of an outline with slabs, and then we'll kind of fill it in, and then actually just go like layer by layer up. Looks like this is going to be visible from my base, which will be kind of fun. It's getting dark, I should probably sleep. Alright, we kind of have the front section done here. So far this is looking pretty good. I realize this might almost even be visible from spawn or very close to spawn, because I built this little, this square of tough bricks right at the world spawn, and it's going to be almost visible from there. You'll have to go a little bit over here, but yeah, there it is. That's pretty cool. Alright, let's get back to work. Alright, we finished the full outline now. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. And this is just like the bottom layer, so it'll be slightly wider than this in the end. But we're kind of gonna go like have a slight angle to it, just so it looks a little more realistic. But now, time to just start filling in this bottom layer. I do need to actually make the back section here, because it has this little like tail on the back that I don't know why it's there, but it is. Nice. Now I have actually built a Republic Venator before in a different server. It was a little bit different that time though. I think I actually made it bigger than this version's gonna be, but it was a lot less detailed, and I also never quite finished it. So I'm hoping this one will be a little better. There's a pretty cool feature that I'm hoping to include that I think will make it fancier than the old one, and worth making a second one. You know, I'm actually going to go in settings and change sneak to toggle, just because I've realized I'm holding sneak this whole time. And I have swift sneak on my armor, so when you open your inventory, it unsneaks and then automatically re-sneaks. That's very interesting. Does it unsneak if I open chat? Yeah, it does. Interesting. And pause too. And there is actually this very strange feature that I've discovered from my time in ancient cities where you can sort of sprint sneak. It's very strange. And like, yeah, you can maybe kind of tell that I'm actually moving a little bit faster. So I'm sprinting now, and then I start sneaking. Whoa, what was that? Oh, I was holding shift. That's funny. So if you just hold shift, it keeps toggling. But if I sprint forward and then start sneaking, I'm actually still sprinting right now. It's hard to tell. But if I stop moving and then start moving again, you can kind of tell it's a little slower. And so I've discovered that from my times looting ancient cities when you have to sneak around a lot. And I realized that you actually can get around decently quickly while sneaking if you like sprint jump while also sneaking. Okay, the bottom layer is completely done now. I am starting to run a little low on stone. I've used up all of this, just have this much left. I do have another entire shulker full of stone, so I'll probably have to go get that at some point. But the second layer should require a lot less stone for now, so that'll be nice. Alright, second layer's going pretty well so far. I think it is time to go get my other shulker of stone blocks. And this will be a good opportunity to see what this looks like, so that looks pretty nice. Alright, here's all my stone. So I do have this full shulker and then a few more stacks, but I can go get more if I really need to. We're gonna kind of continue the slant up here. So we're just doing sort of a slab gradient or angle, whatever you want to call it. So one thing I learned from the last time I made one of these is that anytime you have a large structure like this in the sky, it kind of becomes a mob farm, whether you like it or not. So using these slabs here will actually help to mitigate that a little bit. Now I'm going to need to get some sea lanterns for this, mainly for the engines. Because sea lanterns are this nice blue light source block, kind of nice for sci-fi builds. Let's see if I have any. I have 12 sea lanterns. Yeah, that's not going to be enough. I guess I could craft some. Let's see if I can remember the crafting recipe. I think it's this. Yup. Alright, that gave us 4 sea lanterns. So I'm definitely going to need to go get some more. Fortunately, I know the locations of several ocean monuments. So let's head out there. Let's try not to get lasered by these guys. Actually, these guardians remind me of an idea I had, because obviously they shoot lasers, so I was thinking about actually using them as like laser turrets. And then I could also name the ship the Guardian, because that is also just a cool name. But then it could have the double meaning of like, oh, we have Guardian laser turrets. Aha, yeah, here's what I meant about the mob farm. We gotta light this up. There's like 7 creepers over there, what the heck? Don't blow up my bed, please. Greedo death sound, by the way. Oh no! Wow, that only destroyed 1 block. I guess stone is pretty blast resistant. Okay, our sea lanterns are also gonna go along here as like the hangar doors. Wow, this is a really durable bow that I got from a skeleton. I swear they never drop with that much durability left. Hi. Alright, got a couple more layers done. It's really starting to take shape now. And I just realized I need to go grab some deep slate for the engines, so let's do that. Oh, it's landing in the water, I bet. That's fun. Actually, I might have deep slate in here. Oh, I totally do. Oh well. One thing I actually want to get, though, is some blue, or rather light blue dye. Oh, where did I get this from? This might be from, not trial chambers. Trail ruins. I get those mixed up because oh no, this baby panda is lost. Where's your mom? Poor guy. But yeah, I get trial chambers and trail ruins mixed up because they are like very similar spelling. Trail chambers and trial ruins. Definitely a thing, right? Get some polished deep slate for these engines back here. Okay, now that I've gotten a few layers down, we kind of have all the angles just right. I think I'm gonna kind of take a break from just doing it layer by layer and go ahead and build up these walls a little more. Alright, now we have some taller walls in place. And I'm realizing I need some more scaffolding, so I think it might be time to remove this scaffolding. Oh, hey. Now we get to pick up all the raining scaffolding. Oh boy. That's fun. Alright, but now I can put down some scaffolding so I can easily scale this wall and build stuff on the other side. Grab our sea lanterns here. I could just go with sea lanterns. I think that's what I did for the last version. I think I want to try adding some light blue glass on here. Do I have a crafting table? Should have one in this white shulker. Where is it? Oh, is it in this bundle of random stuff that I need to clear out? Yeah, let me go dump this out. Let's see if we can help this panda find its parents. Grab a bamboo. Here, follow me. Where's the nearest adult panda? There's one. I gave this guy a golden dandelion a while ago, just so he'd have a permanent baby panda around, because they are pretty cute. Now let's clean out this bundle. Emeralds, mangrove saplings, seeds, cocoa beans, pottery sherds, TNT. Some of the stuff I'm gonna leave in here because it's for other projects, but I knew there was a crafting table like buried way in there. Of course, by the time that I came all the way down here, I might as well just use this crafting table. But no. I want to have one up there. No. Faceplant on my bed here. Okay, now we actually have a crafting table. So I can make some stained glass. Nice that the stained glass recipe is kind of efficient, like you only need 1 dye for 8 glass. Okay. There, that's a little fancier. That looks pretty cool. Time to do the same for the other engines. Alright, we got our creeper head. That was a fun little distraction. Should probably get back to work though. Alright, I was grabbing some more sea lanterns at this other ocean monument, and I remembered that this ocean monument has a shipwreck inside of it. That's quite funny. You're just going down this hallway and there's like this hunk of wood, like, oh yeah, there's somehow a shipwreck inside of the ocean monument. Don't see that every day. Yeah, it's just like stuck in there. Don't know how that happened. Alright, and with that, I think the engines are complete. I had to go get a couple more sea lanterns and some more glass, but I think that looks pretty cool. Now that we're done with the engines, it's time to start laying the foundation for kind of the key feature of this build. We're gonna have some redstone in here. Alright, I think that's all set. For now, I think it's time to take a break from that and do another layer of the actual ship part. Okay, my stone shulker is officially empty. I might have a couple more stacks somewhere, but we might have to get some more eventually. That's fine, though. Goodbye. MLG bed! Oh my goodness! What is happening? I am sleeping underwater and then I wake up! That's crazy! I have seen that happen before when you like fly into bed, but never to that extreme. Oh my goodness. Glad I caught that on camera. Anyway, okay, I'm starting on the stripes here on the corner, and we're using mangrove wood for this. Mainly because it can be crafted into slabs, and so then we can kind of preserve this angle that we've got going on here. Whee! And that's going to be nice because my other option was this red terracotta, which obviously can't be crafted into slabs, although that would be really nice if they added terracotta slabs. Anyway, the mangrove is just a little bit darker, which also I think fits the in-universe color a little better on the Venator, so kind of a double win there, I guess. Okay, that's the first part of the stripes done. And with that, I think it's finally time to start this redstone. So I'm going to go craft the necessary components, and then I'll be right back. Okay, that was a lot of crafting. 48 pistons was probably the craziest part, but we also have a bunch of trapdoors, observers, and repeaters, and of course a bunch of extra redstone. But now I think we are finally ready to start on kind of the whole reason I got inspired to do this in the first place. And that is making a giant piston door on this Venator. That's going to be like the hangar bay door that actually opens, like in the Clone Wars, so all the fighter ships can fly out. And we're going to try and emulate that in Minecraft, so I'm excited to see how it turns out. So first thing we need to do here is get some pistons on this layer. Whoops, not fireworks. And of course these are going to power other pistons that will eventually push the blocks up into the ceiling. I did actually find a really cool tutorial, I might put a link in the description, for a 2x6 piston door in the floor, and that works because each piston can push exactly 12 blocks, or a limit of 12 blocks, and so you basically have 6 slime blocks and 6 regular blocks. I worked off of that design, and then essentially just figured out a way to extend it and like chain them together to have a whole bunch of the same type of piston door, just controlling one giant strip of floor. I'm going to have some more pistons here. So we're going to have one lever over here that basically controls the entire thing. I might figure out a nicer place to put that at some point, just so it's a little cooler to activate. But for now, this is how this is going to go. So we can just run some redstone around here. And then I think I'll maybe just do like one of these modules and then show you guys how it works, and then just build the rest. And show it off at the end. Okay, so we're going to need to come back here with this redstone, and then it has to run up here. Part of my modification was actually removing, the need to have this redstone here, because in the original build, I think it had redstone just running straight along here. And I obviously couldn't have that for all of these, because we need this entire thing to be open. But that's why we need this redstone wire to go along here. So that's going to activate the piston that's underneath this one, and that'll push this redstone block, and then there'll be another piston on top of this that gets activated once it's over here. Whee! Okay, and then we're actually going to need some glass. Because I think it's because the redstone is able to, like, connect vertically because the glass is transparent. Okay, and then we're going to have a block there. And then there's a repeater going into this piston, and that gets set on a 1-tick delay. Then we put piston there, and then I believe put another piston here. Although I maybe shouldn't do that yet because it's going to activate and we don't actually want it to yet. Okay, and then we're going to put a block here. And then this is the part that I don't fully understand because I'm not really a redstone expert. But we put a trapdoor and an observer pointing into the trapdoor. And then that's somehow going to activate one of these pistons. Like I said, I don't really understand this. I think this might be the thing that's called quasi-connectivity. That's technically a bug, but they're never going to fix it because so many redstone builds rely on it, which is really funny. Now it's time to grab our slime blocks. Those are going to go along here. And then we'll put our floor blocks on the top. And I think I'm actually going to use the mangrove logs for this. But then strip them so that it's all red. Oh, I can't strip with the shield on. That's weird. So now, I'm gonna try activating this. We'll see if I actually built this correctly. Okay, yeah. So that piston can't activate right now. I think because it would be trying to push more than its allotted 12 blocks. But if I flip the lever, then everything activates in the right order, and it gets pushed up here, and this is where the ceiling is going to be for the outside of the ship. So I think this is all working the way I want it to. Now I just got to do this like 12 more times for the rest of the thing. And we're also going to use some honey blocks. Oh, that didn't deactivate properly. I think I figured out what the problem is. So one of these redstone dusts needs to be replaced with a repeater so that it can't interfere with the redstone that's right there. So I think the way I did this in my mock-up was put a repeater there so that now it's passing straight through this block and it can't go sideways. So I think if I mess with this a few times, should get it to go. Yeah, there it goes. Nice. Now we're finally ready to build the rest of these. And we're also going to use some honey blocks for the other ones because they don't interfere with slime blocks. That's why I had to build a large bee farm just to get honey for this build. Oh my. That is a lot of bees. Excuse me, guys. Grab all this honey. Shouldn't need more than this. But I do have plenty, just in case. Thanks, guys. Okay, so now we can replicate this mechanism on this side, but with honey blocks instead of slime blocks. And I forgot something, so time to troubleshoot. There we go. Perfect. Now time to do this 5 more times on the rest of these. Alright, well I've already discovered all sorts of interesting ways of breaking this thing, mainly by placing this piston too early, especially with this redstone block here. So the order in which you place things really does matter. In fact, probably would be best to place this redstone block last. So I might just go through and remove all these. It is really helpful now that I have one built. I can kind of just copy off of that. And then everything works as it should. Nice. Oh, except for that. What did I do this time? Oh, I didn't put this repeater on a delay. That would do it. Okay, hopefully by the 6th one I'll be able to do it in one go without having to fix something along the way. We'll see. Now right here is where we actually have to introduce some extra repeaters because the signal starts to die out. So put one there, and then I think we should be good. Oh, a wandering trader spawned. That's fun. I guess he's checking out the build here. Anything? Ooh, he sells gunpowder. That's pretty nice. Oh, sulfur spikes is a new wandering trader trade. I think I'll get some gunpowder actually, though. So you can never have too much of that. Oh. Only 8? Really? Whatever. Ah! Speaking of gunpowder, I don't think it broke any of the redstone, actually. That was scary, though. Nope, redstone's still good. Alright. Phew! Alright, and with that, I think all the redstone is done. Let me just test it one final time here. Extends properly. And retracts properly. Oh yeah, that's awesome. This giant door that goes all the way down. Can't wait to see how this looks with the finished build. Alright, this is starting to take shape quite nicely here. All that's left is to do the command tower. Actually, my friend just got on, but I don't think he's noticed this yet. So we'll see if he comes by to check it out. The other thing is, though, I realized I miscalculated this yellow terracotta, so I have to go all the way over to the Badlands to get 2 more. But that's fine, because I actually wanted to get some orange terracotta or some else anyway, so let's go do that. Oh, there's a panda in the nether. Yeah, go on back, why don't you? There you go. Why is there just a fossil floating in midair here? That's funny. Okay, here we are in the Badlands, or Mesa, as they used to be called. I'm gonna grab 4 orange terracotta and 2 yellow terracotta. Alright, time to head home. Okay, with this 2 yellow terracotta, I can finally finish this. So we got these circle logos. And then the orange terracotta, I'm gonna use over here on the front, because the front of this just looks kind of bare to me. I had to make the ship kind of tall to fit in all that redstone, and so I felt like it'd be cool to just put something on the front here. In keeping with the Guardian theme, because I plan to name this ship the Guardian, I'm just going to do a little like Guardian symbol on the front here. So we'll remove all of these blocks, and then we'll just put some prismarine bricks in there to be the body of the Guardian, and then this orange terracotta to be like his spikes. And there we go. I think that looks kind of cool on the front there. And with that, we're all done with the Venator-class Star Destroyer. I'm really happy with how this turned out, especially with the working redstone door. I do still have a bit of work to do. I gotta kind of decorate this interior a little bit, but this video is getting pretty long, so I think maybe I'll just split that into a separate video. But for now, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.